This is Jeff Mucci, RCR Wireless News. We're in Palo Alto today meeting with Dave Kresse, who is CEO of Mu Dynamics. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Jeff.
What exactly does Mu Dynamics do?
So Mu Dynamics, we provide testing solutions to operators and vendors who are dealing with next-generation IP services. What we've seen in the industry is a lot of innovation from our customers and from the industry as a whole, a move away from proprietary applications on proprietary infrastructure into this wonderful world of IP, right? And I think there are a lot of advantages that make IP sort of, it's here to stay.
Right.
And there's a lot of flexibility advantages of being able to roll out new services rapidly. There are cost advantages of being able to roll out or have multiple services running on a shared network. But with that benefit comes a challenge, and that challenge really is around the complexity of these environments and, frankly, the rate of change associated with these environments. And what we've found is the sort of existing paradigm around testing these environments really doesn't work anymore when you talk about the complexity and rate of change. And really, Mu is about filling that gap, providing testing solutions that allow operators and vendors to quickly and effectively test these services and products that they're rolling out.
So prior to Mu, how did telcos test their networks?
Yeah, very good question. So a lot of infrastructure testing was really around load, right? And it's sort of how much throughput can my network handle, and I feel good. So if I can sort of bit blast millions of packets and the network stays up, it's good to go. The challenge with IP is you now have effectively applications running on your network, right? Running across the layers 2 through 7 in your infrastructure, and you now need to think about not just the load aspect of it, but it's really a question of, do the applications work the way they're supposed to? And they're powerful applications. I mean, you've got companies out there that are building, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars of business around these services, or billions of business. How do I make sure that they're actually going to work the way they're supposed to? And, that really is a gap that we've stepped in to fill.
Okay. So tell us about some of your customers currently. Who are you serving today?
Yeah, so we have more than 70 customers today, more than 120 deployments that are out there today as well. And really, it's the leading network operators and vendors in the world, most of them concentrated here in North America. And again, I mean, these are people who I'm sure many people watching this video are using services from these operators, and certainly the major vendors out there are recognizable as well.
Okay. When you're selling, what budget are you going after?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Test budgets.
Yeah. So I think there are sort of two areas where we see the budget coming from. The first is kind of the traditional test budget. And there, I think we have conversations with customers who realize that instead of investing in another blade or another chassis of an existing load tool, they're realizing they need to complement those tools with the kind of solution that we offer. And so, we're not trying to replace those tools, but I think what our customers are coming to understand is they're necessary but not sufficient to solve their challenge. And so that's one bucket. The other bucket is really a bucket that's not related to tools at all today. It's around, hey, I need to do these tests. They're critical for my success of my service. So today, our customers are either doing a lot of hiring a lot of contractors or outsourcing that work to try to get it done. And they look at our solution as a way to dramatically reduce the time to test and improve the quality, and frankly, do it at a lower cost than just sort of throwing bodies at the problem. So those are the two primary budgets.
So what's the ROI look like for an operator? Payback time, ROI, how they measure that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the primary focus from an ROI perspective is around time, right? I mean, I think if you talk to operators, especially in the labs, really the challenge is around how do I get these new services deployed more rapidly? The more rapidly I can get new capabilities out into the marketplace of high quality, the more market share I'm going to be able to grab from my competition because I'm going to have the latest and greatest cool stuff. So wherever you can step in and say, hey, instead of it taking you 6 months to go through this aspect of your test process, we can compress that down to 6 weeks or even 3 weeks. That's a big win, right? And again, you're talking about 7-figure wins in terms of ROI just through one test cycle of being able to accelerate that rate of new service, and frankly, for the vendor's new product deployment.
Can you give me an example of an output from your test that was actionable by the carrier?
Sure. Again, in a lot of cases, what you're looking at is the way I would go after testing this would be to actually have to go through a process of manually creating it. So, for example, I might have a unique service that I'm trying to offer or test over my network. Let's say I'm trying to do an emergency alert notification over a wireless network, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that when I send out a beep, all the handsets that are out there get it.
Right.
So when you think about the different interactions that have to happen to make that mm-hmm. occur, very complex. And if I'm actually going to try to build those tests as an operator, which I'd have to do because it's unique what I'm trying to do, there aren't canned mm-hmm. test mm-hmm. cases out mm-hmm. there that can do it, it's going to take me a long time to go after that problem. And so with our solution, we come in, we're able to model the interactions that you're trying to do, which is really the differentiation of our solution. Instead of giving you canned test cases, we're taking your service traffic and we're using that as a basis for our test solution.
Right.
So we're modeling that transaction for you. We're allowing you to parameterize that as well and drive a lot of different test cases through that workflow. Mm-hmm. And so you're effectively able to take something that would be very, very manual to create and then run tests through and automating it. And in the process, dramatically increasing the time, decreasing the time to test and improving the quality.
You're founded in 2005.
Yes.
Tell me about your management team and your financing.
Yeah, so very, very strong team. I'm excited about the team we have together. Two great co-founders who came out of sort of the NetScreen Juniper era, mm-hmm. our VP of Business Development and our CTO. A great VP of Sales who has experience sort of doing more sort of enterprise sales model stuff at CBON and Sun. Mm-hmm. A great VP of Engineering, and my own background most recently was at Network Appliance for 4 years, mm-hmm. running a couple of divisions there. So very, very strong team, and I think very committed to customers. I mean, I think that's what we all share in our DNA is the desire to make customers successful. And I think it's reflected in the way we work with our customers. We really look at them as partners and just the kind of innovation that comes out of our organization that's really designed to solve customer problems.
Got it. And your investors?
Yeah, so we again, top-notch investors, Excel Partners, Benchmark Capital, DAG, Focus Ventures, mm-hmm. Very supportive, and I think really understand the kind of opportunity we have to make a real impact on the lives of our customers, right? Their ability to roll out these services more rapidly so that more people out there, more end users like you and me, get to take advantage of cooler capabilities faster.
That's great. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks very much for the time, Jeff. I appreciate it.